So how long does the foreclosure process take in Kentucky? In this video, we're gonna show you exactly how that works, okay? There's a lot more than bourbon happening in Kentucky and fast horses and Louisville sluggers and all that good stuff. I'm gonna say this about Kentucky. Some of the most beautiful country in the United States. I have driven that drive between Louisville and Lexington, and it's spectacular. It is. Mitch McConnell, you know your states, okay? It's a beautiful place. What I'm gonna do is this, I'm gonna go through that whole process, but just as importantly, stick around. I've got some really cool stuff that you can learn about Kentucky, a little bonus at the very end that can help you and your family make a ton of money in that particular area. You got three things that are happening in Kentucky, okay? So I can either lend somebody some money and I have to go into foreclosure. I could borrow from a bank and have to go into foreclosure. In other words, somebody I forget to pay. Or I'm buying a tax lien, turning it into a deed, and I have to foreclosure. So let's just get down to the basics, okay? Like any place in the United States, there's some basic fundamentals that have to happen before a lending institution, before an individual can foreclose on you for any reason, or you can foreclose on somebody else. If somebody's foreclosing on you, one of the worst things you can do is hope that it goes away, okay? Hiding your head in the sand and just pretending like it's not happening, okay? The sooner you understand, look, we're not gonna be able to make our payments on this thing, it's not looking good, that accident, whatever the scenario, it doesn't matter. Nobody's judging. What they're trying to do is figure out what's going on financially. So the sooner you or I call that lender and say, hey, it's gonna be rough, I'm not sure what's going on. You don't alert something, that's not speeding a process up. You have to be delinquent for 60 to 90 days before they can send out what's called an NOD, Notice of Default. You have to miss, it usually doesn't take place till after the 90th day, but somewhere between the 90th and 20th, so 3 to 4 months in the state of Kentucky, and you're still not in any closer to losing your home. So by you saying, I'm not gonna be able to make a payment, doesn't make that happen. You calling them up is not causing anything to happen. What it's doing is saying, hey, what are you gonna do? If they're foreclosing on you for the wrong reasons, you can file a complaint, which will delay that, serving it. You can contest it. You can also look at it and say, hey, I wanna mitigate this, and maybe if I can just put those payments on the end, forgive a couple, there's all sorts of things that you can do, especially since COVID has opened up the gambit of what the banks are actually willing and able to make happen. So that's my first kind of plug is, don't hide your head in the sand. If you're late on the payments, it's not a big deal. Now, if you're lending somebody money to a bank, like I've done before or to a property owner, so I've been the bank. So what does that mean is I've got a $250,000 house, they give me a down payment and I let them make payments directly to me. And they stop making those payments, that becomes a whole separate problem. Now is when I appreciate if they call me later on and say, hey, that's what's not going on, or they call me as soon as possible so I know how to fix that situation. But the bottom line is I still want to do my paperwork. I've got to. Okay, I've got to send a notice of default when I can, as soon as I can. No matter what they say they're gonna do, every time I delay a notification, it delays the potential of me getting my money back. It also puts the borrower in a bad situation. So you're not doing any favors by not doing something. All you're saying is, that's fine, we can work on this. In the meantime, I gotta send out this notification. Then it goes to, once that final judgment is done, which is about 60 to 120 days after that, it's gonna go to a sheriff's sale, which is a public sale, and it's gonna be sold to the highest bidder. If the bank buys it back or I buy it back to my whole deal, it's just a real estate owned. There you go. So it's gonna go to the highest bidder on that particular deal. In Kentucky, the homeowner has the right to redeem, allowing them to reclaim their property for a certain amount of time after that. It really depends on the county with it, so you have to check with your local deal. And again, full disclosure, this is not a course so you can get your bar exam for foreclosing properties. Yeah, it's just use this as information. Now, here's the cool thing about it. If they do not vacate the property, an eviction just takes a few weeks. Okay, they can't sit there and, ma and pa kettle and start saying they're setting up their distillery and staying there. It's a pretty easy process going on from there. Now, remember, if you're foreclosing on the property due to delinquent property taxes, a lot of this stuff is already, I don't want to say been done, but if you hit the redemption period and you file foreclosure on that, that's a notice of default. It's still going to have the same process. Once that NOD is sent out for the delinquent property taxes, they have approximately 2 to 4 months to come and redeem, depending on the county and the procedures. All of these criteria need to be met. So during that process, public notice has got to be sent. You've got to prove to the courts that you've done everything you can to notify them that you're taking their property due to delinquent property taxes. The other people that need to be notified in that situation is a lender. For instance, if I am the lender on this and that property owner hasn't been paying their property taxes, wouldn't you want to know? Yeah, I'm going to want to know. So all the banks, anybody that's got a financial interest in that property is going to get notification just like the property owner. That way I can go, whoa, wait a second. Okay, I didn't know this wasn't going on. They're not paying the property taxes. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I can go in there, pay the property taxes, which stops that particular foreclosure. Now here's the key. Okay, if you fail to pay your property taxes and the bank has to protect their interest, you've immediately hit this a clause in there that says if you put the bank's position in jeopardy, they can. It's a due on sale clause type of situation. They can foreclose immediately, whether you're current on their payments or not. This has happened before. What the bank is really saying is, look, we almost lost our position because you didn't pay taxes. We're done. Okay, we're not playing anymore, and they will start foreclosure process. That doesn't mean they can skip any of these steps in there. They still have to go through the same process. But, again, you could still be current on your mortgage loans, but the fact that you got defaulted, the only way you can stop that is if you agree to put the property taxes into some type of an escrow where they're guaranteed that they're paid on that. I can make up some numbers. I don't know exactly what they are, but when you're late on a mortgage payment, the likelihood of you becoming late again in the next 6 to 12 months goes through the ceiling. Something's going on. A lot of you know I have predictive software out there. I can go into a neighborhood and with like a really high, like 17, 18% accuracy, looking at the homes, it'll tell me which one of those homes are the most likely to be foreclosed or sold because of events in those people's lives. We're looking at magazine subscriptions, graduating from high school, death in the family, divorce. Maybe they just want to retire. I mean, who knows? Maybe they want to downsize, empty nest syndrome. All of those factors build to a potential where somebody's going to sell a property on that. Kentucky is a great place to invest. There's a lot of things happen. Like I said, it's one of my favorite states to visit because it is so absolutely beautiful over there. If you ever get to Louisville, make sure you go to the Louisville Slugger plant. You can go in there and watch them making the bats right there. Oh, that pine smell. And of course, you're going to have to buy a bat at that place. It's pretty cool. If you want more information on this, I've got a brand new course specifically for this. This is my gift to you. Hit the link down below in the description. It's just said higginsmethod.com. It's a little tiny link down. Click on that. Boom, go over there and I'll give you my course for free. My gift for lasting this long with me. This is Saen Higgins saying God bless and good luck.